My name is Jesse Porter. I graduated in 2014 with a master's degree in computer science. I work at Qualcomm now as a software engineer. I'm on the open source team, mostly concerned with open source compliance. We create tools that make sure that Qualcomm is using open source in a way that is not going to invalidate any of our patents or, misuse the open source licenses. Also, part of what we do is encourage, by example and through direct education, good open source practices within the company. So it was I took a very interesting path to computer science, I guess, or unique. My original undergrad degree was in economics. But during that time, I worked for the school newspaper, this was at UCLA, in doing photojournalism. And as part of, at the time I wanted a career in photography. For that, I would have to promote myself. And so I needed a website, so I learned how to do that. I enjoyed that, and kind of on my own just started learning programming. When I graduated, I wasn't really sure that I wanted to go into banking or anything like that anymore, and so I took some junior college courses and studied a lot of my own, kind of taught myself how to program. I worked for a few small companies as a programmer, and then eventually felt like I didn't really still have a strong understanding of computer science fundamentals, and to work at the time, I thought to work at a larger company doing more interesting work that I would need a formal background. Knowing what I know now, maybe that's not true, or not as true as I thought it was, but I think it was still a good choice for me. And so I started taking, at the time you could take undergrad courses at UCSD, so I took CSE 30 as my first course with Rick, and I really enjoyed that. And it was a whole different side. I had a very high level understanding of high-level software languages, and then to take, C and assembly and really understand what was happening under the hood I thought that was really cool, and so I kind of went with that. I think compilers, probably, because that's where it really came together for me. Also operating systems, because again, I knew how to program at a higher level, but I didn't have a strong understanding of what was actually happening, and I think there were a lot of aha moments kind of in both of those classes. And 30 as well. To me, compilers feels like advanced 30 kind of, or where 30 really starts to make the most sense. So for me, I felt like I didn't have to try very hard in high school or work very hard often. Computer science at UCSD is a lot of work, and if you want to do it right, it has to be your top priority. Definitely try to be as involved as you can. That was something I didn't do as much as an undergrad, which I regret, and I kind of had a second chance because I did come back to school. So try to tutor. The best way to learn is through teaching. You really don't understand something until you teach someone else how to do it. Internships are very important. Start thinking about that as soon as you get to school, and projects outside of class. So that's another way to learn when you have less of the structure. Often in the real world, that's often, more, where you're kind of responsible to gather the requirements or come up with the requirements and build something, working with other people. All those things are very useful. Don't just go to class and take notes, go home and study, actually do. That's one great thing about computer science, especially programming. The programming side of it is it's something you can actually practice it. You can start doing what you'll actually be doing in the real world, very early on. And the sooner you do that, the more you do that, the more you're going to get out of it.